The August 11th planning meeting of the City of Panama City is now in order. Please take the roll.
Board Member Carroll.
Here.
Board Member Stamps.
Here.
Board Member Barker, not here. Board Member Rich.
Here.
Chairman Neubauer.
Here. Are there any changes or deletions to the agenda?
Yes, so staff is requesting, so towards, as you all know, we have an item towards the end of the agenda, item 6I, and we are requesting that that item be moved up into the agenda. We're looking at making it 6A.
Okay. Are there any announcements or disclosures from board members? Everyone has a copy of the minutes from July 14th. To have a motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Second.
The motion second, please take roll.
Board Member Carroll.
Yes.
Board Member Stamps.
Yes.
Board Member Rich.
Yes.
Chairman Neubauer.
Yes. Now I'm going to read the procedure for which the board will follow during quasi-judicial hearings. Step 1, public hearing announced, introduction of application by staff. Step 2, ex parte communication disclosures by board members. Step 3, identification of applicant and affected parties that intend to participate in the hearing. Affected parties that only intend to make a statement may need to do so at the public participation part of the agenda. An affected party means any person or entity that will suffer an adverse effect and interest protected or furthered by the ELDC, including interests related to health and safety, police and fire protection, service systems, densities or intensities of development, transportation facilities, healthcare facilities, equipment or services, and environmental or natural resources. The alleged adverse interests may be shared in common with other members of the community at large, but must exceed a degree the general interest in community gets shared by all persons. Council will now swear in any witnesses that wish to speak.
Yes, at this time, I'd like to swear in staff and any witnesses that intend to provide testimony on any of these items. And if you don't stand at this time, if you do decide to come to the podium, just let me know that you were not sworn and I'll swear you in at that time. Raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, it is.
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll note for the record that everyone here present with us today stood, so.
Thank you. All right, we'll begin with case A.
Case A, case number,
Sorry. We're moving.
We're moving I up, right?
Oh, that's right.
Beginning.
Okay. We will begin with request I. Is that correct? Okay.
I'll introduce it. So the city attorney's office has prepared the resolution that's enclosed with your packet that lays out procedures and consequences for applicants not appearing at the quasi-judicial hearings before the planning board. And I think, let's see, it says first, non-appearance. If an applicant or authorized representative failed to appear, the planning board shall continue the matter once to the next regularly scheduled planning board meeting. Second, non-appearance by the applicant at the continued hearing without good cause shown, the applicant shall be deemed abandoned and the matter shall be administratively terminated without further hearing.
And Mr. Fuller, would you like me to take over from here?
Yes,
Thank you. And what these rules would do is that if the applicant does not appear for the second time, that would be the end of their application coming before you. It wouldn't go further to the city commission at that time. However, there is another procedural safeguard in that the applicant may, within 10 days of the termination for the second non-appearance, provide, a request to the planning board clerk that would be forwarded to the board. And explain the circumstances as to why they did not appear and request that you reconsider their application. You would have an opportunity at that time at a planning board meeting to determine if they had good cause and to reconsider their request. And then at that time, that's when they would be heard. you can look at this, you can discuss this resolution. This resolution is ready if you would like to sign it. There can be changes made to this resolution after discussion, but it is available for adoption and discussion today.
Two questions. I see the reference to the planning board. Does this also carry over to city commission meetings if it's the same application moving through the process, or just specific to this?
It is just specific to this board. It's a resolution of this board. Again, though, if you have someone who doesn't appear for the second time, they wouldn't ever make it to the city commission.
I mean, if they were absent here and then maybe absent at the city meeting, but it sounds like it's just for this particular.
It is just the rules for your board.
And then I guess the second question, I think this relates to maybe an ordinance or a resolution we did previously on the number of times someone can make a request. So if that request is abandoned and then say 6 months later, that individual wants to come back, is there a policy on how many, can they come back after a certain period of time after the abandonment?
It's 1 year.
Okay.
They have to wait 12 months.
All my questions.
Any other discussion?
When would this go into effect?
It could go into effect immediately once you adopt the resolution.
Fair to go into effect today, I think whenever the applicant makes the application, they should be given this notice.
And that is up to you all. You can adopt today and say it'll go into effect at the next board meeting.
Next
As-
screening of applications or whatever. but
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they got to be aware that if they don't show up.
Yep.
It could be, this could happen.
Yes, sir.
And we have it in the packet, and staff is staff is requesting that direction from the board, essentially to, of course, discuss this today, and then place it on the agenda for the September meeting, and then based on your decision, that's when we can go from there and start putting people on notice of the board's decision. So that is our recommendation, but of course, the board, it's up to you all how you want to approach it.
I'll make a motion to pass it.
Okay, a motion and a second.
Second.
Motion second, please take a vote.
Board Member Carroll,
Yes.
Board Member Stamps,
Yes.
Board Member Rich,
Yes.
Chairman Newbauer,
Yes,
motion passes 4-0.
thank you.
So the motion is to bring, just to be clear, the motion is to bring this back to the September meeting? Or would you like to adopt a resolution today? That Ms. Haley was,
I think the intent was to adopt it today, but.
Okay, that-
But not
Make the
apply it today.
The effective date.
Okay.
Next meeting.
then I'd like to read the resolution. We'll have resolution number 2025-0811.1. A resolution of the Panama City Planning Board establishing procedures and consequences for applicant non-appearance in quasi-judicial hearings before the planning board and providing for an effective date.
All right.
Request A.
Item A is case number 0619. It is a variance request. The owner is Brenda McNeil. The applicant is Ronald Deal for 1814 Mount Avenue, parcel ID 28226-000-000. This is a item that was continued from the planning board from July 14th, and it is a variance from the setback regulations for the mixed-use 2 zoning district regulated by section 104-31.
Questions for staff from the board? Is the applicant here today? Perfect.
Hello,
Please state your name and address and whether you've been sworn in for the record.
my name is Amber Hightower. My address is 1814 Mound Avenue. I'm standing in place of my grandmother, Brenda McNeil.
Okay, thank you. And you've been sworn in?
Yes.
Okay.
Is the request to bring an existing structure into compliance, or are there changes you all are looking to make?
The request is to be able to split the lot in the same place as the other lots are split to make it into 2 separate lots, a front and a back, one with Mound Avenue and one with Laurel.
Okay, and with the split is where you would need the variance to allow for the other building. And are there any structures on the building right now, or in the front half, maybe on Mound Avenue?
There is a structure on Mound, but there is not a structure on Laurel.
Variance covers the structure being split, or partially split. Any other questions?
Yep.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here to speak on this item? Okay, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second?
Motion second, please take roll.
Board Member Carroll?
Yes.
Board Member Stamps?
Yes.
Board Member Barker?
Yes.
Board Member Rich?
Yes.
Chairman Dubauer?
Yes,
Motion passes 5-0.
thank you. Request B.
B is case number 0773. This is also a variance request. It is also continued from the June 9th planning board meeting. The applicant is Stefan Grantraw, and he is also the owner. And this variance is a request from the setback regulations for the general commercial 2 zoning district regulated by section 104-30.
Thank you. Questions for staff of the board? See applicants here, please state your name and address for the record and whether you've been sworn in.
My name is Stefan Grancherov. My address is 1105 Yale Avenue, and we're here for about 910 Cherry Street. And I have gotten some drawings, if you allow me to pass around real quick so you guys can get a visual of what I'm asking for.
Sure.
Can I?
Is that what we're here?
Is this, we may have this, is this the same drawing we have in the back of the package? Okay.
Yeah. I think that's what everyone's saying.
Thank you.
Just show that.
Thank you, sir.
I get what's.
Thanks, sir.
I don't need it.
Two different drawings.
If I may, there's 2 drawings. One is the existing floor plan, and the other one is what we would like to add on to the building. And the reason I have this orange hallway marked is because that will be a common hallway for both offices. Our goal is to turn the building into 2 completely separate offices, which right now is not possible because of the current floor plan. So we would like to incorporate a third of the building. If you're looking at the building, I'm talking about the left side of the building. As you can see, we would like to incorporate the hallway and the 2 offices there into the new floor plan. So the reason we're asking for the variance of 2 feet is because once we construct the new addition, the thickness of exterior and interior walls are going to be 1.5 feet, and then leave us only with 13.5 feet for a floor plan. And we would like to be as ADA compliant and actually above and beyond compliant, some extra space for people that are in wheelchairs. So therefore, we're asking for that.
Excuse me, can you get a little closer to the microphone?
Oh, I'm sorry. So should I repeat? Oh, okay. So what I was saying, I'm sorry, that the orange hallway is going to be a common hallway for staff for both offices and also for fire code compliance, egress and egress. And then if we try to stay within the current 15 feet of a floor plan, by the time we construct it, the exterior walls and the interior walls are going to eat an additional 1.5 feet of floor space. And that would put us really tight in compliance with the ADA requirements. And we actually really like to go above and beyond when it comes to ADA compliance and make it as comfortable as possible for people with disabilities, since we're not sure exactly what this office might end up being right now. You know, one of the plans is for the Hatcher Law Firm to stay in one of the sites, and then the other one will be able to rent. And this is the main reason we're asking for that 2 feet of variance. And if you open that page, the width of the page is exactly 2 feet So this is about that much we're asking for.
So this building right now is offset to the west side.
Yes, so if you're looking at the lot, the building would be on the left side of the lot.
So it looks like you have 80 feet to the east side. I guess I'm curious why do an expansion where you only have 20 feet versus the side of the property with 80 feet?
Because of the current floor plan, sir, if you look at it, then we have the lobby, and it will be like really very counterproductive to trying to expand to this side, to the right side. Also, all the plumbing and everything is right in the left back corner. So practically speaking, trying to expand to the right now would be cost prohibitive.
Is the left-hand side of the drawing considered side parcel, Michael? Where the 20 feet is?
That would be this side.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So the minimum setback on that is 5 feet, and he's asking to go to 3 instead of 5.
That's correct.
Okay.
And if I may, if we're to put a storage building or something, we have a 3 feet setback. So,
For accessory structure, yeah.
yes.
Have you talked to any of the other property owners, curiously?
Yes, the guy that bought the corner lot and the Del Mondo Cafe, I spoke with him. He has absolutely no problem with that. And then Chris Kramer and his brother, they own the property right there in the corner. I talked to them, they said that they're not doing anything with their property right now, so they kind of pretty much they don't care.
And then the 3 foot on the rear, that's just to bring the rear into compliance.
Yes, sir. I mean, we can't move the whole building.
Yeah, right. But I guess two different requests. One, to bring it into compliance on the rear, no changes there, and then to the west,
I guess, sir.
or to the east, I'm upside down.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else here to speak on this item? Is there any other questions?
If I may, before we go on, I misspoke earlier. I said this was originally scheduled and tabled from the June 9th. It was actually tabled from the July 14th meeting, and the subject property is 910 Cherry Street, parcel ID 20986-000-000. Just wanted to correct that for the record.
Thank you. All right. Any further discussion? Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Please take roll.
Board Member Carroll.
Yes.
Board Member Stamps.
Yes.
Board Member Barker.
Yes.
Board Member Rich.
Yes.
Chairman Newbauer.
Yes,
Motion passes 5-0.
thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Request C.
Item C is case number 0551. The application type is a small-scale land use amendment and rezoning. The owner is Bay Oaks Village MHP Incorporated. The applicant is Scott Helms. The subject property is located at 2414 Michigan Avenue, parcel ID 26999-005-000. This one was also originally planned from earlier and tabled. The applicant wishes to rezone from the public institutional to a residential 2 zoning district.
And Board, I just want to point out that this was actually remanded from the City Commission meeting. It wasn't tabled.
Correct.
And it was after, Mr. Fuller, correct me if I'm wrong, but the City Commission adopted a land use change that allowed for this density.
The commission did not take action on the land use.
They did not take it, okay. And so, but it was remanded from the commission.
Correct.
Forget the exact reason. But there was a land use change, okay.
Did they?
They remanded it, so the applicant requested to change their request from MU3, if you recall, the original request to go from public institutional to MU3. And at the July 22nd City Commission meeting, the applicant revised the request to go from public institutional to residential 2. And upon learning that, the City Commission decided to remand the request back to you all for consideration.
That is exactly what I remember. Good,
Thank you
yes,
for the
exactly. There's been a few meetings in between. Thank you.
It's been
And
a lot.
I'd like to
yeah.
disclose, I did speak to the applicant earlier today on the phone.
So I believe I've received a voicemail from the applicant, but I have not checked that. Returning to call Scott, sorry.
Okay.
Any questions? The applicant like to speak on this item?
Scott Helms, 2414 Michigan Avenue. I was just trying to oblige some of the neighbors around there. You know, they didn't want a commercial type building, which I was going to do a flex space. So, you know, townhomes are the best fit for it now. So I lowered the request to R2 before the last commission meeting. So, and then I figured it would come back here so we could vote again.
Any questions for the applicant?
I just, from a planning standpoint, and this would be a question for staff, no questions for you specifically. The majority of this area is Bay County, correct?
Correct.
And so we only have a handful of properties, which is public institutional R1, there's that MU3 above it. So I guess, any concerns with having a third spot of zoning, just a different zoning blend? Again, being that it's a blank slate, it's hard to say what the kind of concurrent properties would be, but any concerns with that?
Staff, we don't have any concerns, mainly because, yes, we're talking about the current land use pattern surrounding, as you can see on the picture, I'm sorry, the map on the screen, surrounding is R1, which is Bay County residential. We're still going to go to our own residential future land use map category, but we're just requesting a slightly more intense version of residential than what's already across the street on Michigan Avenue, further to the south there, to the west. So the applicant's requesting for R2. You have MU3 to the north. We do believe that the request is still consistent with the development pattern and the land use and the zoning pattern in the area, even though it is mostly county. So we do feel we're obviously recommending approval, but we do believe it's consistent and it's compatible with the general area.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Is there anyone else here to speak on this item?
Robin Morrison, properties at 3900 West 24th Street. And this land use is better than the previous one, which I appreciate. But can he have trailers there?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so single family or multifamily? Okay.
R2 allows single family, duplex, triplex, townhome type things.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else to speak on this item?
I'll make a motion, we approve.
Second.
I have a motion second. Please take roll.
Board Member Carroll.
Yes.
Board Member Stamps.
Yes.
Board Member Barker.
Yes.
Board Member Rich.
Yes.
Chairman Newbauer.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Requests D.
Item D, case number 0828. The application type is an annexation or small-scale land use amendment and rezoning. The owner and applicant is Gene Steele. The subject property is located at 2800 Jameson Drive, parcel ID 13027-118-000. And the request is the annexation to the city, amendment of the future land use map to reflect the land use designation of residential and rezoning of the property to a residential 1 zoning district.
Thank you. Any questions for staff?
Mr. Chairman, if you allow, I want to add one more thing to staff's, one more comment rather to staff's presentation. We did receive comments from Underground Utilities earlier this afternoon, and I just want to make sure those are included into the record. So there is language from the fire department about utilities not being available, not being extended already down towards Jamestown. But they do say that the property does not have water or sewer available. Closest water and sewer is over 500 feet away from the property, and the city does not have the capacity at this time to make such an extension. And so staff will have to work with the applicant at a later date to make sure that utilities are available per the comp plan. We just need to make sure those services are available and that capacity is available at the time of a certificate of acceptance. But we'll have to work with the applicant at a later date. I'm sorry, certificate of occupancy, rather.
Thank you.
So if we approve this, we're not obligated to run all the water and sewage to it, are we? Or
There's no legal obligation. We would annex them because there's availability. But there would be, there could be a requirement on the applicant to add money into bringing the utilities to them.
we've done that in Kings Point
Yeah.
years ago, and you can do it, but it's not cheap. So
It is not cheap.
That's a long way to go.
Understand that.
Yeah.
When we do this, we're not going to. The city's not going to be obligated on the hook immediately to go in there and put water and sewage.
Exactly, no. And I did consult with Mr. Zimmerman on this, and he wanted to make sure they knew that it could cost them as well.
Is that Leah here to speak on this item? Sure.
Gene Steele, 2911 Marin Drive, Panama City 32405. Yes, I'm aware of all of that.
I should have waited till you talked before I said something.
Pardon me?
I said I should have waited till you said something before I asked that.
Any other questions for that?
No.
Thank you. Is anyone else here to speak on this item? Yeah, you're good. Anyone else here to speak on this item? All right, we have a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion second, please take roll.
Board Member Carroll.
Yes.
Board Member Stantz.
Yes.
Board Member Barker.
Yes.
Board Member Rich.
Yes.
Chairman Newbauer.
Yes,
Motion passes 5-0.
thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Request E.
Request E is case number 0820. The owner and applicant is Benjamin Dreckens. He is requesting the property be rezoned to mixed use 3, and it is located at 1906 Louise Avenue.
Thank you. The current zoning is what, MU2? Yeah, okay, I see that.
That's correct.
Any other questions for staff?
What's it, is currently zoned out just mixed use?
MU2.
MU2, and he wants MU3?
Correct.
Do we know why he wants MU3?
He wanted to go to mixed use 3 because of the density allowance, so he needs MU3 to be able to build duplexes. Right now, he only can put 1 unit based on his acreage.
The maximum units per acre in MU2 won't allow you to put the duplex or 2 units on the property.
Oh, okay.
Is the applicant here to speak on this item? No. We have that rule yet, huh?
Well, not yet. You just missed the cut.
Is there any further discussion? Do I have a motion?
We can board it till next month. No. I make a motion we approve.
I don't like that.
Well, I guess I'm making a motion on the table.
If there's a second, I'll open for further discussion before we vote.
I'll second, but I'm going to have the same question that I had before. I mean, is the city okay with a variance of the existing use to go from increasing the intensity mainly because it would have been allowed if it was a slightly larger parcel? It just doesn't allow that many units per acreage.
So the issue is the size of the parcel just won't allow 2 units. And one of the things that staff looked at, again, we looked at the surrounding land use and the surrounding zoning, but we also looked at what's existing in the area. And we do see a trend we have a few parcels in the vicinity that have more than 1 unit on the parcel. So we're kind of looking at what's actually on the ground in the area as well. So that's part of the reason why staff moved forward with a recommendation of approval on this.
Versus a variance, because it's still, 2 units aren't allowed regardless of setbacks or anything like that.
So, I see what you mean. So in terms of a variance, we wouldn't be able to, the code has a list of different requests that can come forward to the board regarding variances, and that gets into density. And so now we typically don't bring that before you all because the code does not.
So it's density, number of residents rather than actual.
A setback or something, yes, correct. It's a density issue.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Got a motion second, please take roll.
Board Member Carroll,
Yes.
Board Member Stamps,
Yes.
Board Member Barker,
Yes, reluctantly.
Board Member Rich,
No.
Chairman Newbauer,
Yes,
motion passes 4-1.
thank you.
Home with you.
So that's actually, it goes to the city commission on September 9th for the first reading, September 23rd for the second reading. All right, request E, is that right? F, sorry.
Request F is case number 0277. The applicant is requesting a vacation of right-of-way. The applicant and owner is Mark Bellion and M&J Land and Marine LLC. He's requesting to vacate an abandonment of a portion of High Avenue south of West 21st Street.
Thank you. Any questions for staff from the board?
Do we know the original intent of the right-of-way? Was it just to have city access to the water? I mean, like to the, not water line, but to the actual canal?
I believe in the past, I think High Avenue went all the way through to West 20th, and we vacated the bottom portion prior, so I don't know why they didn't vacate the entire thing, but that was what was there.
So there used to be a right-of-way south of this as well.
There, yeah, you can see it on this exhibit.
Okay.
The shade in gray is area or right of way that's already been vacated.
So it makes this part.
Right away across the creek with no bridge.
Yeah.
Is the applicant here to speak on this item?
Here, it shows the whole thing. Is it? Yeah. But this has already been vacated, you said?
No, yeah.
Oh, this part. Okay, gotcha.
My name's Mark Mulligan, and at 1106 West 11th Street, and I was sworn in. The reason why I made the application, because we've cleared the land, and we have to constantly use High Avenue just to access our property, because there's no way else to access it other than High Avenue. It is not an improved road. And so instead of asking the city to improve the road so we can develop it, I think it'd be easier if we just incur that expense, and that gives a little bit more latitude when our civil engineer engineers the land to give us some more maneuverability. And that's the reason. And that road does go to a dead end. It just goes down to the water, but it's just like a little creek. It's not really.
So did you say you're at 4209? Or which property do you own?
I own the property
To the west.
that goes all the way down. Let me see. I don't see it up there on the land up there. Maybe. Oh, there you go. There now. Oh, there it goes. I own that triangle piece right there. That's on the water.
Okay.
Yeah, to the west, to the west of that, and that only way we can really access, because to the north of us is another like an alley type thing. That goes down so the other house on the water can access it, but the main when we've been clearing the land, is that High Avenue is the only way we can really access it.
Okay, so you're not on the east side then?
No, we're on the west side, that triangle piece on the west.
That's just.
There's a house on the east side already.
Right.
Are there plans to build something there?
Yes, we had the property rezoned to R2, and we want to put some duplexes, and we cleared out all the trees, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to access our property. We'd have to go through High Avenue, and so we just started looking. If we abandon it, we can make a better project there, I believe so, and we can take on the expense of that road, because I don't think that asking the city to pave that road for us, I'm not sure if they would, so that's.
So the abandonment half will go to the parcel to the east.
Yeah, the 4209 guy gets half, right?
Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. Once it's abandoned, it'll revert back to the adjacent landowners, half and half.
Are you gonna build something like you built there on 11th Street?
Yes, something like that, yes.
That's nice.
Okay. Any further questions? Anyone else here to speak on this item? None. Do I have a
Nobody
motion?
left.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion second, please take roll.
Board Member Carroll.
Yes.
Board Member Stamps.
Yes.
Board Member Barker.
Yes.
Board Member Rich.
Yes.
Chairman Newbauer.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Request G.
Request G is case number 0620. It's a text amendment to the Unified Land Development Code concerning section 104-33E8, permitted encroachments in the downtown zoning district. This item was tabled at the June 9th hearing based on some additional comments from the planning board at that time. Specifically, the planning board considered the matter and recommended additional changes, specifically a provision limiting canopies and balconies within a certain proximity of the street curb. The planning board also, or you guys also recommended removing the text allowing outdoor dining to be located in on-street parking spaces on Harrison Avenue. So in the staff report, at the end of the staff report, in red is the additional language that we added in following that June 9th meeting. And for canopies, it says a canopy may not be located within 10 feet of the outer face of the curb on Harrison Avenue. Same thing for balconies. And then with regard to the sidewalk cafe, it says, except for Harrison Avenue, outdoor dining may be located on the sidewalk or on-street parking. That's except for Harrison Avenue. They will not be allowed, or sidewalk cafes will not be allowed in on-street parking on Harrison Avenue. With the wider sidewalk now on Harrison Avenue, there's no reason to have a sidewalk cafe extend out into the.
There's not much road there.
That's right.
Yeah, so they can be on the sidewalk, they can't be in parking places.
Correct.
Yep.
Michael, is there a design review process as part of this?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Anytime, the sidewalk cafe or all of it requires review.
Yeah, I guess any of it, but particularly I was talking about the sidewalk cafe. If somebody wanted to use the street for dining for those parking spaces, they would need to get city review of that.
Review process, and there's an actual sidewalk cafe permit that's issued.
Okay.
Remind me how wide is the sidewalk on Harrison? And I only ask because the canopy may not be located within 10 feet of the curb, which I couldn't remember it as.
It varies, but I think on average, it's about 18 to 20 feet.
Okay, so that would allow essentially for an 8 to 10 foot
balcony.
Canopy or, okay.
That's with the new streetscape.
Right. I just didn't want the sidewalk to be 12 feet.
Yeah.
And then you only have 2 feet of sidewalk. Yeah.
Right.
Any other questions? All right, do I have a motion?
I'll move we approve.
I'll second.
Motion second, please take roll.
Board Member Carroll.
Yes.
Board Member Stamps.
Yes.
Board Member Barker.
Yes.
Board Member Rich.
Yes.
Chairman Newbauer.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Request H.
Request H. Request H is another proposed text amendment to the Unified Land Development Code concerning section 104, or excuse me, 110-4, which is the accessory structure section. But this actually has to do with boats and, or docks and boat structures, which is in subsection G of that section. And this comes after a request by a member of the City Commission that staff research ways to protect and preserve the man-made and natural channel at the mouth of Lake Huntington in St. Andrews Bay. The intent is to provide an unobstructed channel for ease of navigation to and from Lake Huntington. Staff is proposing an amendment to the ULDC which will prohibit construction of docks and boat slips from encroaching into a defined area at the mouth of Lake Huntington. The proposed ordinance, if adopted, will make any existing dock within that defined area at the mouth of Lake Huntington a non-conforming development or non-conforming structure. Should the ordinance be adopted by the City Commission, any existing non-conforming docks may remain in existence but may not be expanded or extended. If damaged by more than 50% of the value of the structure, the non-conforming dock may not be rebuilt unless it complies with the standards set forth herein, basically as long as it's built outside of that zone. And the proposed ordinance defines that dock prohibited area. Unless y'all want me to, I won't read the actual description. But there's a map or illustration of what that area is.
I read that foot description about 10 times trying to understand it, so I assume it just means the rectangles on the drawing.
Yeah. The first part of that paragraph describes the upper rectangle, the smaller rectangle, and then the latter part of that paragraph describes the southern part of the large rectangle.
So the current ordinance, is it fair to say, is fairly generic and not specific to a certain area? The new ordinance looks to protect this one channel.
That's correct.
It actually defines a channel more or less geographically with GPS.
And I guess, are there other channels similar to this that are being discussed to protect in the same way, or is this one exception based?
It's pretty much limited to just this one. I guess we could expand our research out to other channels, but really this one, and this all centers around the recent doc, the appeal. So that's why this one's such a hot topic right now.
I agree with Chris, though. I think if there's other ones that are similar in nature that might be potential issues going forward, it would be better for us to be ahead of that and to look at the mapping and see if there's other ones that we want to include in similar language in the future. Yeah. I agree with him.
Yes, because the difficulty right now is we don't know what folks are going to request. And you know, I think we were kind of constrained in the last discussion, which was, do they have a permit? Is it navigable?
Yeah.
And so we were constrained. So I was just trying to think of, you know, are there other Marcelina Bayou type acts, or areas that might have a similar impediment potentially.
Well, and that gives us an opportunity to get stakeholder involvement as well. So if we identify that there's 3 or 4 of these throughout the city, then we can get feedback from the citizens and see if it's something that we want to do the same thing.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some language that goes along with giving a little bit of direction, but not having to define every single avenue. But yeah, just
I mean, this is basically specific to what we had last month, that conversation. But what if DEP comes back and permit and says, yeah, you're fine, you're in good shape?
Well, this would still be in place that
Well, I
would
understand that.
mitigate against future things.
Restricting to rebuild their lot down the road if a hurricane did buy it, messed up. So, I mean, do they have an argument that, that this is just pointed towards them and, because it really doesn't affect anybody else, as I see.
Are there any other docks
I just don't
in
want-
that geographic area?
Just want, I mean, if DEP turns them down, then we're good, and then we can pass this ordinance, and then, nothing could, I just want to think about that. I mean, I'm glad we turned the last one down, but I still don't want to make it feel like we're just picking on this one person.
There is,
I guess we're really not, but.
there is remnants of an old dock. You can see it in the aerial that.
Oh, that was further south. I gotcha.
Yeah,
And
that would be
I
effective.
think there's also discussion of something further north. I think there's a small.
Try something, yeah, they did, okay.
Well, this takes out the question of what is the navigable waterway.
Yeah.
It's essentially
Because
defined.
that was such, the difficulty with the appeal was, one, currently we don't have provision in the code that says you can't build a dock in the channel, which that's not a requirement. And then I took it out of this version because I've got some feedback from some of the residents over there, but I had a proposed change to where it says, currently says, a dock structure shall not impede the flow of water nor navigation. I was going to propose to change that to say, dock structure shall not impede the flow of water nor adversely affect navigation. And the reason why is that's essentially a lower standard to meet. In that last case, I could not say that the dock was impediment to navigation, but I could say it would
Adversely
adversely affect. After feedback from those residents, I decided to leave it out because I think they like the term impede better. So.
Okay. Further discussion? Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion second, please take roll.
Board Member Carroll?
Yes.
Board Member Stamps?
Yes.
Board Member Barker?
Yes.
Board Member Rich?
Yes.
Chairman Newbauer?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
I have one quick question on I. Does this also apply to variances? Because they're not considered quasi-judicial.
You talking about second,
On the
the
second
I?
question I on the.
A variance is quasi-judicial?
Okay.
Yes, sir, because you're applying the code to a request, so it applies.
I was under the impression they were not. So, all right. This brings us to audience participation of the portion agenda. I see it. No. Meeting's adjourned.
Funny that probably, I guess I would.
So did we leave that where we were going to look at?